Hello and welcome. You're watching Good Morning India. I'm Gargi Rawat.
Hey, good morning. I'm Divya Wadhwa. Now let's get you our top story. In contest symbolic of the fierce turf war between the BJP and the regional parties, 7 assembly constituencies in 6 states will elect new legislators in Bypolls today, with Telangana and Bihar hosting two of the more closely watched clashes. Gargi.
That's right. In Bihar, it's a Mokamma constituency. Now in Telangana, it's been primed for a high-stakes battle between the BJP and Chief Minister KCR's TRS following allegations by the latter of attempts to poach its MLAs with eye-popping amounts of cash. In fact, a lot of cash has been talked about in the Telangana bypoll. The bypoll in Manuguda was called after the Congress MLA there resigned and joined the BJP. The contest is largely between R.K. Rajgopal Reddy of the BJP, the former MLA, as well as Prabhakar Reddy of the TRS and Congress's Palvai Sravanti. And as we said, the Bihar election is also very closely watched. Then there's the by-election taking place in Haryana as well. And it's a prestige battle in fact, in Maharashtra as well, where an election is taking place. So that is considered a done deal. The Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena is expected to comfortably win that Andheri East Assembly constituency. Let's go across to Sohit for more. And Sohit, this is after, all the parties agreed that the, candidate from the Uddhav Thackeray faction would be the candidate for this bypoll.
Well, that's right. While the BJP has withdrawn its candidate, still Rituja Latke will have to contest Kadya against 7 independent candidates, and the voting for the same is today. While yes, the BJP isn't contesting the election, that's true. Day before yesterday, a press conference was done by the Uddhav Thackeray faction of Shiv Sena, where their leader has alleged that while there are people who aren't contesting the elections, they are giving notes to people to vote for Nota instead of voting for any candidate. So these are the elections that are being made at the same time while the voting is going on today. This is an important thing, but yes, this is also going to be a litmus test for the Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray faction ahead of the BMC elections, because viewers need to remember that after this, the BMC election is going to happen in the next few months, and before that, the Uddhav Thackeray faction, who is in power in BMC for the last 25 years, they would like to go to the BMC election after winning this Andheri East bypoll. It would have been more interesting if the BJP would have been contesting this. But while they are not contesting, this is the first election where the Uddhav Thackeray faction is contesting on the symbol of torch after the split in their party, which we saw in the of June and July this year. So yes, an important election that is going to happen today. And in fact, this was not only the Uddhav Thackeray faction, but the entire MBA is supporting Rituja Latke, who is contesting this election against 7 independent candidates, and the voting for the same has begun today, and the result of the same is expected on 6th of November.
Right. Thank you so much, Sohit, for joining us with those details. We also have our colleague Manish joining us from Mokamma. Manish, the first electoral test for Nitish Kumar's new Grand Alliance in Bihar.
Of course, and that is why, this outcome of these two by-elections are very keenly awaited. Not only for the first time, it's a BJP versus RJD in both the seats, even though Nitish Kumar did not campaign, but RJD left no stone unturned, and also the BJP, almost, they did a very high voltage, campaigning in both the constituencies. But their best case scenario for both the parties is to retain their respective seat. As far as Mokamma is concerned, you can see that there is a huge turnout in comparison to the general election, because, in the by-election, generally the, turnout is low. But this time we are seeing in almost all the polling stations in Mokamma that there is a huge turnout, and this is primarily due to the reason that both the candidates, the RJD candidate as well as BJP candidate, they are using all their resources at their disposal to bring out their respective supporters. As far as Gopalganj seat is concerned, of course, there it's a sympathy versus social combination of Mahagathbandhan, because BJP candidate is a widow of former BJP legislator Subhash Singh. But there also the BJP's base case scenario is, dependent on how much the AIMIM candidate as well as BSP candidate, who is interestingly wife of former MP Sadhu Yadav, who is mama of Tejaswi Yadav, is in the fray, and it depends on them that how much they are able to cut into Mahagathbandhan votes. That will actually decide the outcome of the polling today. Divya.
Right. Thank you so much, Manish, for getting us those details. Also, Telangana's Munugode election is going to be most watched election in the history of the state, Gargi.
That's right. It's been the most watched in the run-up. Remember, it's been a big contest being called this big prestige battle. And for the first time in this Bypolls, 298 polling booths will be covered under CCTV coverage. Uma Sudhi reports.
We are inside the control room of the Chief Electoral Officer of Telangana at a time when the Munugode Bypoll, which has been dubbed as India's most expensive election, is being conducted. What you see monitors there is that for the first time, there is 100% webcasting of every polling booth in Telangana. Each of those cameras will be observed through all these screens. 298 polling booths is what we are talking about. And in real time, there is a team here which is monitoring what's happening in each of these places. And for the first time, not just 100% webcasting, but also 100% micro observers and 100% deployment of central forces in addition to the state police to try and ensure that the process is smooth, fair and transparent. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhi, NDTV. Kind of much watched with CCTV, is this kind of unprecedented or does it happen routinely?
I don't think it happened, not at least in our state. It has not happened earlier. So this time when we were trying to do even the webcasting and these cameras also.
What are the kind of numbers when you're saying CCTVs? I did notice that where these checks were happening, there were CCTVs fitted there.
We had 48 such CCTVs which were, including the one that were mobile ones. So 48 ones which are being monitored. And of course tomorrow all the 298 polling stations will be having webcasting, and that webcasting will be seen not only in the central control room of the district. We will be also having a control room where we will be able to see all of them, and we have given the link to the ECI also. They can also see if they want to. So it will be basically on air. Okay, not available for public, but it is available for yes.
Thank you so much, and best wishes for the election. So much watched election that not just Telangana perhaps, but the entire country would be watching closely. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
And the dates for the Gujarat Assembly elections will be announced by the Election Commission today, Gargi.
That's right. Remember, these are much awaited and delayed announcement. It had been expected earlier when the Himachal dates were announced, but they weren't announced then. And we have seen since then the Prime Minister and BJP leaders visiting Gujarat. Prime Minister also announcing several projects. But now finally this much awaited announcement being made in the backdrop of the recent bridge tragedy that took place in Gujarat, in Morbi, that left 135 people dead. So finally that announcement coming at noon today. Remember, Aam Aadmi Party has been campaigning in Gujarat, but Gujarat is seen as a stronghold of the BJP, given that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister there for such a long duration. Let's go across to Arvind now for more. And Arvind, so finally that announcement coming today, what are you hearing?
Gargi, the Election Commission will be announcing the schedule for the Gujarat Assembly elections at around 12 noon today. The press conference will be addressed by the Chief Election Commissioner along with the Election Commissioners, wherein the Election Commission will be giving the poll dates for Gujarat. So earlier, like you mentioned, the Election Commission had announced only the schedule for the Himachal Assembly elections. Though the Himachal polling will be over by November, but they have kept the counting of Himachal Assembly elections on December 8th. That's a gap of almost 1 month between the date of polling in Himachal and the date of counting. So what we are being told is that now the Election Commission, according to our sources, will be trying to fit in the date for Gujarat Assembly elections, the polling date of Gujarat Assembly elections between this particular time period, so that the counting for both Gujarat and Himachal can be held together on December 8th. So in all likelihood, what we are learning is that at least there will be two-phase elections in Gujarat. In that case, even the last phase of polling in Gujarat will be timed somewhere in the first week of December, so that the counting can be held together on December 8th. So the moment the Election Commission announces the poll schedules, that's where the model code of conduct will kick in Gujarat, and the administration will go under the control of the Election Commission of India. So by today, around 12 noon, the Election Commission Commission will be spelling out the dates for Gujarat Assembly elections, and the Model Code of Conduct will kick in, and in all likelihood, the counting of Gujarat will be held along with Himachal Assembly elections. That's on this parade.
All right, thanks so much, Arvind. So the Himachal counting date giving some kind of indication about, when the Gujarat polling dates will take place, given it's so much after that the counting for Himachal is taking place. Let's go across to Ankit also for more. Ankit joins us from Ahmedabad. And Ankit, you were earlier in Morbi, covering this bridge tragedy, and it's, the Gujarat election dates were much awaited, but now coming in the backdrop, Gujarat has been in the news for this terrible, terrible accident.
That's right, and this is possibly something the election managers, especially of the current government in the state, the BJP, would be very, very worried about. But it also seems that they could not have held on and waited, and possibly the election commission, they could not have waited for much longer. It also comes on the backdrop of, one after another, many visits of the Prime Minister in the state of Gujarat, where he announced multiple projects for the state. Now, it's finally the dates are being announced. In fact, it is more or less in line with what had happened in the 2017 Assembly election, where the Gujarat election was announced after Himachal election separately. Now the election commission is, as Arvind was also telling you, the expectation here also is that it is going to be a two-phase election like 2017, and most likely ahead of the December 8th deadline. In fact, what we are learning from our sources is that the political parties here are preparing for a polling date of between 1st to 5th of December. We'll have to wait and see what the election commission has decided on this, but Gujarat is all set, and this, in fact, Gargi, what happened in Morbi is going to be one of the biggest talking points of this entire election. In fact, late last night, I was in Morbi, and the buzz on the ground, people are extremely, extremely angry as far as the state government is concerned. But whether it has any kind of impact electorally, whether it will percolate down to other seats and have an impact in the Gujarat Assembly elections is yet to be seen. But at least in Morbi, that's why it seems in the last couple of days the investigation has also picked up pace. Yesterday we accessed that letter, or in fact the documents which were submitted by the police in the court for the remand of the accused, the 4 accused. Now, finally, Oreva has been mentioned, though their MD and their owners are yet to find their name as far as the FIR or the documents are concerned. But at least the wheels of justice have started moving some way in Morbi.
Right, okay, thank you so much for getting us all those details. So that huge announcement expected at noon today of the poll dates for Gujarat. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break.
On the other side, we'll focus on pollution in the national capital. Stay with us.
Welcome back. A thick layer of smog lingered over Delhi and its adjoining areas this morning as the pollution level slipped into the severe category once again. So it's that time of the year, Gargi, when pollution is visible. You can see it, you can smell it, you can almost taste it.
Today is terribly, in fact, even worse than it's ever been this entire season. November is when pollution gets very bad in Delhi year after year. Nothing seems to have changed. The air quality index is at 408, and this is a result of farm fires in neighbouring states as well as our local conditions conditions that the vehicular emissions and various other reasons for the pollution in Delhi, but especially because of the weather as well, with the temperatures going down, and it's a toxic mix that we're seeing in the national capital. And in fact, the fine particle pollution, that's PM 2.5, is nearly 80 to 100 times the safe limit considered by the World Health Organization. And this is the deadly pollutant that gets into our bloodstream and impacts our organs, our heart, our lungs, and it's
Gargi, just a check on the levels this morning, 500 going up all the way to 800 points. Those are the kind of levels we're seeing early this morning in various parts of the national capital.
That's right. Let's go across to Vedant now for more. And Vedant, you've been speaking to many people, many parents who are extremely concerned about this pollution level, and as doctors have been telling NDTV year after year, every time we focus on this pollution affects brain development as well, not just what you see in terms of coughing and wheezing, but brain development is affected in the long run.
Well, absolutely, Gargi. I come to you from, Anand Vihar, which is not just Delhi's, but one of India's most polluted spots. You can see, the thick smog that has actually, engulfed the national capital. And if I can just ask my camera person to show you the smog tower, which is absolutely engulfed by, this thick smog of pollution. Remember, Arvind Kejriwal earlier this year, in fact, said that smog towers have been effective in tackling pollution. But this is a visual representation of the failure of the smog tower. Experts have continued to say that smog towers are totally ineffective, and yet we continue to, not just endorse them, but also continue to rely on them. Remember, stubble burning yesterday was at a season high of over 30%, and it's likely to increase because of the wind direction over the weekend as well. And remember the graded response action plan, the set of anti-pollution measures, the stage 3 of it has already kicked in. There's a ban on construction and demolition activities, and experts say that the stage 4, which kicks in when pollution goes into the severe plus category, that should also kick in because remember the graded response action plan was in fact implemented earlier this year. So a lot of experts are of the opinion that the stage 4 should kick in, schools should be shut, and they should in fact transition to the online mode back again. Remember, the politics over pollution also continues ahead of the crucial Delhi civic body polls. The centre says that the Aam Aadmi Party government, which used to blame the Punjab government earlier for stubble burning, this time has nothing to fall back on, because the Aam Aadmi Party government is not just in Delhi but also in Punjab as well. The Aam Aadmi Party government says that the centre in fact did not give a nod to the proposal to provide cash incentives to farmers to prevent stubble burning. And in opposition here in Delhi, the BJP continues to say that the Aam Aadmi Party government has failed to implement preventive measures. So while the political blame game continues, it is actually the people of Delhi who are the worst hit. As you mentioned, not just respiratory illnesses, but this air pollution also hampers cognitive development. Pregnant women, children, elderly are the most vulnerable. In fact, experts continue to say that there should be a public health emergency that should be declared in the national capital, considering the kind of levels that we're seeing. In fact, as we speak, I just checked the official data and the real-time monitoring, and it suggests that the PM 2.5 levels, the lethal pollutant, is actually 500 at the moment in Anand Vihar, which is almost 100 times the WHO safe limit. It's very concerning, and parents and children continue to say that schools should be shut. In fact, a lot of parents said that this is just a knee-jerk response to pollution, and why are long-term measures not in place? Let's just listen into what children and parents in fact have to say about the worsening air pollution in Delhi. Delhi's air pollution continues to worsen. The PM 2.5 pollutant levels are almost at 80 to 100 times the WHO safe limit. Well, as the political blame game continues, it is the national capital's kids who have to bear the brunt of Delhi's pollution. They continue to go to schools in this, breathing toxic air. I'm joined by a few parents here. मैम, सबसे पहले बताइए कि pollution इतना बढ़ रहा है, तो बच्चों को इससे हेल्थ रिस्क्स जायज़ हैं कि बहुत सारे हैं, तो आप किस तरीके से प्रिकॉशंस दे रहे हैं? आपको क्या लगता है कि स्कूल्स बंद कर दिए जाने चाहिए ऐसे में?
एक्चुअली कोरोना की वजह से तो वैसे ही स्कूल बंद थे, तो बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम हुई थी, क्योंकि घर में भी रह के बच्चे उनका डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाता, मतलब स्टडी जैसे स्कूल अभी आते हैं तो मेंटली फिजिकली हर तरीके से डेवलपमेंट बच्चे को चाहिए ही होता है, तो स्कूल तो पॉल्यूशन के लिए कुछ करना चाहिए,
instead of closing schools, right? Yes. So parents are telling us that school closure is perhaps not the solution. It's an emergency measure. There should have been some other measures taken by the government. Sir, थोड़ा आप बताइए कि आप देख रहे हैं कि आप बहुत अच्छे से आपने बच्चों को मास्क पहना के भी भेजा हुआ है, तो आपको लग रहा है कि पोल्यूशन बहुत बड़ी समस्या, सबसे ज़्यादा बच्चे परेशान हैं समस्या से?
पोल्यूशन तो बहुत बड़ी समस्या है, बच्चे ऑब्वियसली परेशान हो रहे हैं
जी। और आप देख रहे हैं कि हेल्थ इफेक्ट्स भी इसके दिख रहे हैं कुछ बच्चों में?
इफेक्ट तो है, हेल्थ इफेक्ट है, बच्चे को रेस्पिरेशन में दिक्कत हो रही है
जी। तो आपको क्या लगता है स्कूल ऐसे बंद कर दिए जाने चाहिए या फिर?
स्कूल बंद करना इज नॉट ए सोल्यूशन। अब ये तो ब्रॉडर इश्यूज है, अब इसमें तो गवर्नमेंट्स को कुछ मेजर्स लेने चाहिए कि पोल्यूशन कैसे रिड्यूस कर पाएंगे गवर्नमेंट्स।
सो वेल, respiratory illnesses faced by kids, and as doctors have also said that the kids and the elderly are the most vulnerable. So थोड़ी बताइए कि दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन इतना बढ़ रहा है, आपके बच्चे ने भी हम देख रहे हैं मास्क लगाया हुआ है यहाँ पर, तो क्या आपको लगता है अब स्कूल्स बंद कर दिए जाने चाहिए या फिर क्या सोल्यूशन है इसका?
सर सोल्यूशन तो यही है कि स्कूल्स में अगर कहूँ तो बंद कर देने चाहिए कुछ टाइम के लिए, क्योंकि इतना पोल्यूशन है हमारे लिए ही सांस लेना मुश्किल हो गया है। तो इतनी थिक एयर हो गई है कि हमें खुद महसूस होता है कि मतलब कितनी हैवी हवा अंदर जा रही है या आंखों में कितनी जलन है, तो इसके बारे में सोचना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को।
So well, parents concerned about the health risks of air pollution, sir. Delhi's air pollution continues to worsen, and the national capital's kids really are the worst hit. बच्चों को सबसे ज़्यादा परेशानी हो रही है, तो ऐसे में आपको क्या लगता है इसका क्या सोल्यूशन है? कई लोगों का ये मानना है कि स्कूल्स बंद कर दिए जाने चाहिए।
अभी हम लोग वही डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि सबसे अच्छा सोल्यूशन है ऑनलाइन क्लासेस वापस से रिज्यूम कर दीजिए। आप घर में पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल वाले जो भी आ रहे हैं इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स वो सब लगाइए। ऐसे में तो मतलब बच्चों की रोज़ हम लोग डॉक्टर के पास जा के परेशान है, कभी ब्रीथिंग इश्यूज हो रहा है, कभी बुखार आ रहा है, कभी कुछ हो रहा है। मतलब बच्चों के लिए एटमॉस्फेयर अच्छा नहीं है बिल्कुल भी, और गवर्नमेंट को कुछ करना चाहिए। पंजाब में देख लीजिए कितनी परालियाँ जल रही हैं, कितना एयर पॉल्यूशन। अभी हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे स्मॉग है, ठंड नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी वो लग रहा है फॉग हो गया, दिसंबर की कड़क ठंड आ गई है। तो इसके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है गवर्नमेंट को स्टेप्स लेने का, और बच्चों के ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है।
Welcome back. Now, it's a big day today. Colleges have reopened today, and Delhi University, it's the first day of college for the first batch from the CUET, the one that took this admission exam. So, it's the first batch that's joining college today, and from admissions on the 12th exam marks to CUET, it's been quite a challenging transition as well. There have been several, controversies on the way, but now finally colleges opening today to the batches coming in from class 12. Let's go across to Priyanshi now for more. And Priyanshi, so a lot of excitement in the air.
Absolutely, Gargi. Lot of excitement. Students, as you can see, are entering. We're coming to you from outside the Daulat Ram College that's in the heart of the North Campus, and students are entering here. This is the first batch that took the CUET exam, so a lot of challenges that this batch faced, and it's a special batch for many reasons. First, they took the board exam twice because of COVID, and then they had to take the CUET exam as well. We have with us some students who are joining us, and also their parents, to talk about the experience of coming to college and the entire CUET mess that all of them faced. What's your name, and how do you feel finally coming back to college? Not back to college, but for the first time coming to college, that too facing those hurdles of the CUET exam, being the first batch that took the CUET exam.
My name is Yukti Divya, and I come from Delhi itself. And after taking the CUET exam, which was very tedious, to be honest, because while taking the exam we had faced many problems, but coming here in Daulat Ram College, that too in North Campus, it has been a great experience. Yesterday was my first day at college, and the teachers and my seniors are really friendly and supportive. We also had the GE orientation, which was very well arranged, so it was a good experience overall.
Right. So how do you feel to be the first batch that had to take the CUET exam? Do you think that you had to be a batch that had to face all of this cost, or do you think it's worth it?
It's not worth it, but there are a lot of emotions, up and downs. Like we have to go through CUET. We gave boards for 2 times, but it was worth it. Like we got admission finally in North Campus, and in Daulat Ram.
Right. Do you think CUET, many are calling it a fair playing field because it's fair, everybody has to take the same exam. Do you think this is better or the admission on the board exams was better?
I think CUET is much better because सबको एक same level का exam करने को मिलता है तो same opportunity मिलती है. 12 से ये better मुझे लग रहा है.
Do you feel that your batch had to pay the cost of this and you didn't want to and this just happened to you?
Sorry, I just can't.
And there were lots of technical glitches also while filling your preferences and also getting your location. Were you able to give your exam in the first go?
No, I wasn't able to. My first exam was scheduled to be on 5 August, but due to technical problems, the server was down and the computers malfunctioned. So we had to go back home and again come after 20 days for the second exam. And on that day, everything was conducted smoothly. So that was it.
But you had to go for the first exam on one day. How many days was the gap between your two exams?
20 days, as I said. Yeah.
20 days you had to take a retest. Your first exam didn't happen. Okay, so also colleges usually reopen in the month of August. Now they're opening for freshers in the month of November. So how do you feel coming to college 2 months late than the rest of the batches?
I'm a fresher as I don't know much, but it's okay.
How do you feel? Do you think you're paying the cost of coming 2 months late while the other batches came in August, you're coming in November?
Like we have lost a lot of time and we have already been given the schedule for our exam, so I definitely feel that we have less time to prepare for it and we will be more in a rush to complete our syllabus, but end of the day it's fine, we'll manage about it.
But it will be a fast-paced syllabus. Let's just talk to some parents as well who are now joining us. How do you feel, sir, your daughter is finally going to college?
I feel very happy, but at the same time I would like to tell the management, I mean NTA and Delhi University, that normalization process was unfair to the student.
Right.
And what I think, just like any other exam we have in India, like JEE, NEET, IITs, they can do the exam at a day, so that normalization process can be over.
Right. So it has to be fair and it has to be on one day, yes, so that everybody gets the same test.
By doing normalization process, you are unfair to the student.
Right.
Actually, student doesn't know which question is hard and which question is easy. So what NTA thinks that is easy, they normalize it, which is unfair to the student.
Right. Let's just speak to some more parents as well. कैसा लग रहा है सर, आपकी बेटी college आ रही है and that too after that CUET mess, lot of stress because of that exam.
My daughter Sadvika Malihar got the admission in this college. My daughter feels very happy. I also feel very happy. The college campus is very clean, neat and clean. The staffs are very supportive. But I request the college should enhance the hostel facility of the boys. Because there is a lot of problem to search the PG for the outside the states peoples. So
right.
It should be enhance the college facility or the hostel facilities for the girls.
Which state are you from, sir?
I am coming from the Gonda, UP.
Okay.
UP, जो है.
So how was the CUET exam taking process for your child?
It is the first time the CUET exam taken by the government. There are a lot of problems occurs during the exams, but I feel happy that the last is good, so it is a good.
So do you think it's fair that CUET is being taken? So a lot of people are saying that now only the people who deserve admission are getting it. What do you think about that? And how was the entire process of that stress and roller coaster ride?
देखिए, जहाँ तक मेरी बात, मैं अपनी बात कहूँगी कि पहली बार ये एग्ज़ाम कंडक्ट किया गया था, लेकिन चूँकि आप नेशनल वाइड आप एग्ज़ाम ले रहे हो तो फिर इसमें लूपहोल्स की कहीं कोई गुंजाइश रहती नहीं है. आप बच्चों के करियर के साथ खिलवाड़ होता है. एक तो टाइम बहुत लंबा ले लिया, बहुत हर एक बार जो है वो एग्ज़ाम जब हो रहा है तो इंटरनेट क्या कहते हैं कंप्यूटर काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, क्रैश हो रहा है. तो ये सब जो है ना बहुत टायरिंग था और इरिटेटिंग भी था. और एग्ज़ाम के बाद जो रिजल्ट्स आए तो उसमें उन्होंने कुछ करेक्शन करने के लिए भी बोला कि यदि आपके कहीं कोई मार्क्स हमने ऐड नहीं किए हैं और रॉन्ग हुआ है आंसर तो आप हमें प्रूफ के साथ दो तो हम उसको रेक्टिफाई करेंगे. तो ऐसा हुआ. बट माय डॉटर गॉट 796 आउट ऑफ युक्ति. इट वाज 800 फुल मार्क्स, 900. ओके 796 4 शी गॉट, लेकिन अब जब उसको वो नॉर्मलाइज कर रहे हैं तो फिर उसके बाद काफ़ी जो है वो मार्क्स कम हो गए। तो इसमें क्या है कि अब जो बच्चा मतलब सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग करके आया है, फिर भी जो है वो एडमिशन के टाइम में बहुत दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ा फाइनल, बट इसे नॉर्थ कैंपस में एडमिशन मिल गया तो शी इज़ हैप्पी, दैट इज़ अनदर थिंग। बट जो प्रोसेस है उसमें थोड़ी सी और इनको रेक्टिफिकेशन की ज़रूरत है, और अगली बार ऐसा ना हो, क्योंकि बहुत सारे बच्चों के साथ तो ऐसा हुआ कि उनका एग्ज़ाम भी छूट गया है। अब चूँकि सेंटर्स इतने दूर दूर में थे तो एक ही दिन में 2 सेंटर्स पे जाके एग्ज़ाम देना उनके लिए पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाया। तो ये सब जो है वो नहीं होना चाहिए। अब फर्स्ट टाइम कर रहे हैं, सेकेंड टाइम कर रहे हैं, डजंट मैटर।
Thank you. The process was definitely hard, but you're finally excited. And what are your plans? How excited are you?
We are just happy. We will enjoy everything, every moment.
Just waiting for freshers party as of now. Everything is fine.
Do you have a schedule for that? When is that going to happen?
Around 26th of November they told us, but not sure.
So already getting ready for that. When are your classes beginning? Tomorrow?
I guess 5th of November. Tentatively.
So you were waiting for this day after CUET also happened. So all of that is now worth it, finally coming to.
Yes, it's all worth it. Attending classes is going super good. So I'm happy overall.
What's your advice to people who might be taking CUET next, since you are the first batch?
Focus more on CUET than boards as of now, because it's gonna help you for exam, and study more than your usual syllabus, because they can ask you more than that. And apart from it, divide your time for general tests, domains and English accordingly, and it's all gonna be fine.
And normalization shouldn't happen. The exam should be taken on the same day for everybody.
Yes. Difficulty level should be maintained by NTA. Normalization afterwards is not gonna help. So that's my thing.
That has changed your marks and maybe left away your dream college from you.
Yes, exactly.
So you didn't get your dream college because of normalization?
Yes, kind of, you can say that. Because I had got much more marks than what I have got after normalization. So I could definitely be in a better college right now, but because of normalization I couldn't get it. So I think from the next batch it shouldn't happen. So that's my...
But the CUET mess has not hampered the excitement of coming to college. That's still the same?
That's still the same. That's fine.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and all the best.
Ma'am, there were cases, in many cases, where students were marked absent though they were present for the exam. Right. So this shouldn't happen.
Right, absolutely. Lot of hurdles and lot that the NT also needs to work on. Thank you very much for joining us. All the best for your first day and for your college. Thank you very much. So as you heard, everybody is really excited, and they say that though there were many hurdles, people have entered for their orientation now at this college, and though there were many hurdles, but people are still excited to be in college finally, and they say that all of that is now worth it. They are the batch that has faced this change, and they are the batch through which this entire system is changing, from board exams determining your admission process, and now a common entrance exam that determines which college you'll get. So there are some sour thoughts, some sour feelings about the CUET exam, but all's well that ends well is what the students are saying. All right, Priyanshi, thanks so much for joining us, and wonderful to hear, you know, those young people as they're going into college and a new phase of their life, and a lot of excitement, and poor things, they have been a batch that has faced a lot of challenges, you know, with their class 12 and then all the problems that the CUET had, but finally now joining college today and DU opening today. Well, let's move on to other news, and news of the Federal Reserve in the US. And the Federal Reserve pumped up its benchmark interest rate by 75 basis points for a fourth straight time, but hinted that it could soon reduce the size of its rate hikes. Now, the Fed's move raised its key short-term rate to the highest level in 15 years. It was the central bank's sixth rate hike this year, a streak that has made mortgages and other consumer and business loans increasingly expensive and heightened the risk of a recession. But then in a statement, the Fed also suggested it might soon shift to a more deliberate pace of rate increase. It said in coming months it would consider the cumulative impact, and it noted that its rate hikes take time to fully affect growth and inflation, so indicating that the policymakers may think borrowing costs are getting high enough to possibly slow the economy and reduce inflation.
Today, the FOMC raised our policy interest rate by 75 basis points, and we continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate. We are moving our policy stance purposefully to a level that will be sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2%. In addition, we're continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive stance of policy for some time. At some point, as I've said in the last two press conferences, it will become appropriate to slow the pace of increases as we approach the level of interest rates that will be sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to our 2% goal. There is significant uncertainty around that level of interest rates. Even so, we still have some ways to go, and incoming data since our last meeting suggests that the ultimate level of interest rates will be higher than previously expected. Our decisions will depend on the totality of incoming data and their implications for the outlook for economic activity and inflation. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting and communicate our thinking as clearly as possible.
And from news of the Fed to the RBI now, the RBI's Monetary Policy Committee will meet today to draft a report explaining why inflation has remained above its tolerance band for this whole year. The Reserve Bank of India will not immediately release details of the report to the public and will send the explanation only to the government. News now from Rajasthan and of the Congress there, where it's all not calm. Sachin Pilot has, in the latest installment of his rivalry with Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, said that the Congress MLAs in Rajasthan who revolted against the party must be punished, indicating the MLAs from the Gehlot camp. Then, while speaking to reporters during a visit to Alwar, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Mr. Gehlot, urged his party leaders to maintain discipline and refrain from making out-of-turn statements.
Sachin Pilot's call out to Team Gehlot, with Pilot taking a political dig at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's praise for Ashok Gehlot at a government function in Rajasthan, where the Prime Minister said Gehlot is one of the most senior chief ministers.
अशोक जी हमारी जो मुख्यमंत्रियों की जमात थी उसमें सबसे सीनियर थे, सबसे सीनियर मुख्यमंत्रियों में है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कल जो बयान दिए, जो बड़ाइयां करी, मैं समझता हूं बड़ा दिलचस्प एक घटनाक्रम है, क्योंकि इसी प्रकार प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सदन के अंदर गुलाम नबी आज़ाद साहब की बड़ाइयां करी थी और उसके बाद क्या घटनाक्रम पैदा हुआ हम सब ने देखा है। तो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग डेवलपमेंट था कल का, जो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सोते ही बड़ाइयां करी हैं। इसको बड़ा मैं इंटरेस्टिंग मानता हूं और इतना लाइटली नहीं लेना चाहिए।
But then a more frontal attack, asking the party to end the climate of indecision in Rajasthan and calling for action against pro-Gehlot loyalists who rebelled in the CLP.
इस पार्टी में सबके लिए रूल्स, नियम, कायदे कानून बराबर होते हैं। तो जो इंडिसिप्लिन अगर किया गया है, उसके जवाब मांगे गए हैं, जवाब दिया गया है, तो उस पर भी शीघ्र निर्णय लिया जाना चाहिए। वो इसलिए कोई व्यक्ति कितना बड़ा हो, लेकिन कानून, डिसिप्लिन, अनुशासन पार्टी का सब पे लागू होता है।
Gehlot was quick to retort, citing discipline.
देखो बयान तो नहीं देना चाहिए वैसे तो, क्योंकि अभी जो है अभी वेणुगोपाल हमारे महामंत्री हैं, उन्होंने कहा भाई आप बयानबाजी कोई नहीं करेंगे, तो हम तो डिसिप्लिन के बाद चाहते हैं कि सब लोग करें।
But the restlessness is apparent. MLAs from the Pilot camp have been making statements about the leadership change.
हम तुरंत डिसीजन करते हैं दिल्ली के अंदर CLP की मीटिंग बुला के, अब तो वहाँ हमें फायदा होगा इसका।
और CLP होनी चाहिए, ये पुरानी चीजें हैं तो सब होना ही चाहिए था, जल्दी होना चाहिए था, लेकिन कितनी जल्दी होता है इसको देखते हैं। अच्छा होना चाहिए। इस तरह देख रहे हो कि राजस्थान की जनता क्या चाहती है, जो चाहती है वो होना चाहिए, जो भी राजस्थान की जनता चाहती है।
Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is just a month away before it enters Rajasthan. And the assembly elections, of course, are 13 months away. Not enough time for the Congress to put its house in order. And as the political tug-of-war continues, it's perhaps time that the fault lines in the Rajasthan Congress were finally addressed. In Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
Now, the latest on the Morbi bridge collapse tragedy in which 135 people have died. 9 people have been arrested, but no one with any authority has been arrested. The bosses of Oreva, that's the company that took over the repair of the bridge, none of them are being probed or none of them have been arrested. There you can see one of the bosses there who inaugurated that bridge on the 26th of October. However, he's missing now. No accountability has been shown. NDTV accessed the court order on the remand of the 9 accused, which includes contractors, managers, ticket sellers and guards. While there are 2 more charges added vis-a-vis negligence to endanger public life, the big fish still seem to be on the run. The Oreva top guns have not been questioned. Neither do they seem to be probed at the moment. The municipal corporation chief, though, was questioned for 4 hours yesterday. Documents attached to the court's order show major lapses that contracts given to Oreva, who further subletted then to Dev Prakash Solutions, that both were inexperienced. The report shows how substandard materials were used, that the bridge cables, remember this is an over 100-year-old bridge, but the bridge cables were not even changed, they were simply painted. In fact, NDTV's Ankit reports from the site of the bridge and shows us these materials, as the ruins of the bridge lie there. Remember, the cable snapped on Sunday, sending people tumbling to their deaths.
Let me now show our viewers what it translates to. This is the first time that you'll be seeing on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. We have been talking about the rusted wire. We've been talking about, what the bridge was made of. This is what it looked like. This is the criminal negligence that cost 135 people their lives. This wire is the main wire. This is the other end of the bridge. Yesterday I was at the Darbargar's end, and this time it's the Swami Narayan temple end, where the remains of this deadly bridge have been kept. Now, this wire that you see behind me is the main wire on which the entire bridge was hanging. So there were 2 such wires. One is still intact. This is the one that snapped and broke. We were talking about how the police in the report has said that it was rusted. This is the live evidence that I'm showing you how badly rusted this wire is. Look at the coupling. Look at every joint of this wire. Look at every nut and bolt of this wire, which is absolutely rusted. Even the suspenders, from which so basically the bridge, this is the main wire on which there are these suspenders which are put. Look at their condition. They are completely rusted. I move my hand on this like this. This is how it looks like. It completely comes out just with the movement of my hand. The rust you will see here which is coming out. This is the part of the bridge that broke. And what exactly was done in the name of renovation or in the name of strengthening this bridge? These aluminum sheets were put on which people were walking. These aluminum sheets were the ones which were put replacing the wooden planks which held this bridge together, on which the people could walk earlier. They were, the base of this was made out of these iron, in fact, it doesn't seem iron, but, this steel material, these steel beams, as to say, these beams have completely been twisted because of the weight. Now, what the team which did this entire renovation, which was Oreva company, which got this contract and subcontracted it to Dev Prakash Solutions and Fabricators. Dev Prakash Solutions and Fabricators are the ones, those who were responsible for doing this entire work. They had no prior experience. I went to their office, which is about 90 kilometers from here, and people told me that their primary job is wielding. I mean, they are iron wielders, and they have an iron go down there, where their office is, which is locked right now. Both the father and son, Prakash Parmar and Devang Parmar, have been arrested by the police. They are accused number 3 and 4, as far as the 9 accused, those who have been arrested. But this, Maha, is the evidence which tells you, and this is also what the FSL has chopped using gas cutters and have taken a part of this. Look at the negligence, or rather, in fact, the willful criminal negligence which costed people their life. The weight was so much because these wires were not, in fact, changed, that these wires, like you will see, any kind of rope, right? These wires came out. Look at this. They have been completely untangled. This is how these wires are supposed to be. They're completely untangled in this entire heap that you would see of steel, of iron, of aluminum sheets, which is kept here. This tells you a story, not only a deadly, sad story which cost 135 people their lives. There are few still missing.
And NDTV's Tanushri reports from where the rescue work is continuing, though it's more of recovery work, as there are concerns that perhaps still some bodies are there on the river floor. And remember, the river is also being drained so that the ground is appearing more and more. There are also, as you can see, lots of plants in that river that have been a challenge to the recovery teams.
We are here in Morbi at the accident site where one of the most tragic incidents, one of the most unfortunate incidents our country has witnessed in the recent times happened on Sunday, where a suspension bridge collapsed, resulting in the loss of lives of at least 135 people. The entire state of Gujarat is observing a mourning period of 24 hours. And here at the accident site, even the defense forces, all the rescue and search operation teams, including the Indian Army, the Indian Coast Guard, Indian Navy, and the NDRF teams, who have been continuing with their search operation, the recovery operation for the last more than 48 hours, they are also mourning the dead here at the accident site. And all the teams who have been carrying out the recovery operation, they stopped for 5 minutes to mourn the dead. Let's again, remember that 135 people have lost their lives in this tragic incident, and most of them were children. We met many victims, many families of victims who have lost their small kids, their entire family. When this suspension bridge collapsed, completely came down in the evening on Sunday. Now we are also trying to question the administration and the government officials as to how many people are still unaccounted for. We have been told categorically that 2 people are feared, 2 dead bodies in fact are feared to be trapped inside the muddy water, and the teams are trying their best to pump out the water and recover the bodies.